All right, bet, no problem.
Five, four, three, two, one. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. My name is Tanner Dagenais, the Mind Hacker. I help gamers overcome their weed addictions, and also I host this podcast, Unleash the Hero Within. And I'm super grateful to have AJ here. Smackyourbowlcut. He is a kick streamer. He streams mostly Fortnite, but we'll go into if you know what else you may do as well. Yeah, just really excited to have you on, AJ. If you can introduce yourself a little bit, I'm sure I can't introduce yourself as good as you can, but yeah.
Yeah, so my name is AJ. Everybody knows me as Smack Your Bowl Cut. The origin behind Smack Your Bowl
Yeah.
Cut, which everybody wonders, like, why would his name be
Yeah.
Smack Your Bowl Cut? So I noticed that I was playing, Apex for a while,
Hmm.
and whenever I would kill people, I would go to their streams, and it was a lot of like people with bowl cuts, like Asian guys with bowl cuts. So, so I decided to make the name because like a lot of these guys were sweaty that I would kill. So that was just like, what, Smack your bowl cut. Like they're gonna get upset if they go to my name and they see that it's me. So I created it. It was something funny and it was something that a lot of people will remember.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing, because whenever I kill people and they like smack your bowl cut, they always search me up
Hmm.
and then they'll write to me on TikTok like, "Yo, you smacked my bowl cut on Apex" or something like that, like funny stuff. So, and I've made like, I've made a fan base out of it. Like people say I have a bowl cut, which I don't have a mullet, but they say, "Oh, you have a bowl cut," and then I have an avatar that actually has a bowl cut. So, so it's like, it's just funny. I always feel like with Twitch and gaming and stuff, you have to make something memorable
Definitely.
because it's good for like regular people, yes, but then kids like to make fun of it. But if they see that you're a good player, they'll be like, "Oh, okay, he's Mike Boca. He's actually killing people. He's actually doing really good."
Hmm.
So I would say that's where the name comes from. Smack Your Bowl Cut. Just wanted it to be something memorable because anyone can make any name like AJ Slays or AJ something, and people are gonna be like, "Oh, that AJ kid." But Smack Your Bowl Cut is like you're wondering what's behind Smack Your Bowl Cut.
Yep.
Whose bowl cut is he smacking? You know, like like, and it's funny because you think
Yeah.
of the origin. You think of a bowl cut, right?
Hmm.
Now think about Naruto, right?
Hmm.
They made fun because they had bowl cuts, Rock Lee and Guy Sensei, but they're strong as hell. Like you can't underestimate Rock Lee and you can't underestimate Guy Sensei because he was one of the strongest guys. But he did have a bowl cut and they did dress kind of funny. So everyone was like laughing, like, look at these guys with bowl cuts, but they're really strong. So that's how I feel like, where it came from.
Yeah, I love that. That's a really cool name. I love how you actually have like a really cool story behind it because yeah, a lot of people are just like, yeah,
I
here's my
like the
name,
name.
and just like out of nowhere, but like you definitely got a good story behind it, and it's funny, and you're right, like it is super memorable. Like when I heard it, I was like, "Smack your bowl cut." What does that mean? Like, so yeah, I loved it.
And I like to go into people's streams and be like, hopefully everybody in here is keeping their bowl cut safe. It's like a thing that I do in people's streams. I got banned once doing it, I'm not gonna lie, because they thought I was trolling. But in reality, I'm like, dude, like, come on. I'm just supporting.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like trolling to me, but that's funny. That's really good.
Yeah, it was funny to me.
Oh
And then
yeah.
my friend did it like just to see because he didn't believe me. He's like, you couldn't have got banned. He did it and they banned him too. And they were like, this kid made another account. I'm like, bro.
Oh man.
It
Wow.
was funny though.
That is pretty funny for sure. So, where did your gaming journey start? Like, when's like the first time you ever played games?
So I would say, I started with single player games. Like
Hmm.
a lot of people, the first game I've ever played was Sega Genesis, Aladdin.
Oh,
Like,
oh man, that game was hard.
yeah, it was like it was so competitive, and like
Yeah.
at that time I didn't know nothing about games, so when I got it, I was addicted. I was going
Mhm.
crazy playing that. Then I would say from there I did a lot of like single player games. Like I would say more like once PlayStation came out, it was more like Tomb Raider, Metal Gear Solid, games like that, like really single player games. I didn't know nothing about multiplayer. Then I played SOCOM Fireteam Bravo 2, which was the first game where it was like, team based. I got to hear other people talking and it was just crazy to me. It opened up like how team games can be, because
Mhm.
everyone had microphones. We had 4v4s, everyone was working together, teams had to shoot the same person. So that's when I fell in love with multiplayer games. And I was just like, you know what? Like, I joined the team called FTB and it was really cool, minus all the hackers on PSP because
Yeah.
there was people running around with infinite health, and I shoot at them and they wouldn't die. So I'm like, dude, like, what is this, bro? How can you surpass this? So yeah, that then I got big into Gears of War. Gears of War was like half of my life. So I would say like a lot of my gaming toxicity came from Gears of War because
Mhm.
like, Xbox, it's a whole different kind of like lifestyle. Like if you played Xbox and you did multiplayers,
Oh
like
yeah.
all the crazy trash talk and like
Uh-huh.
it was just like the worst ever. So from 2006, I played Gears, and that's when like people were just I was just meeting. Believe it or not, a lot of my friends that I met in 2006, I'm still friends with them today.
Nice.
So it's like, it was something that bonded us together because for me, like, I live out in the Bronx and whatever.
Mhm.
And, my family wasn't always around. So I would take games and that would be like a coping thing because I would hang out in the street and be doing bad things. And then once, I started playing Gears and once I started playing games, it kind of kept me away from doing all that. So those people on the games became like my family. Like
Yeah.
instead of being out in the street with these guys, risking my life, I'm in a game risking my life, which is not as bad.
Yeah.
So they became my family. So a lot of them I know till this day. Like I hang out with them in Discord till this day, and I've met them years ago. And I feel like you don't find friends like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's people in real life that I have friends like that I don't even talk to anymore. So, gaming, when you find gaming friends is something that you cherish because
Mhm.
they gonna be there for you. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you play games with them, you guys gonna argue. If you die, if they die, there's gonna be arguments. But if you're able to get past those arguments and keep them in your life, then do it because they're gonna be loyal.
Mhm. Yeah, I love that, man. Yeah, I think that's one of the like most amazing things about gaming, especially like multiplayer gaming, is that you just can connect with people like all over the world. It doesn't matter like if you know them in real life or not. You could be like super good friends with them. I have a lot of good friends too through gaming, and I love that you've stuck together with them and they were able to help you through those like tough times. That's really cool.
And it's always, the sad thing about it is that the people that you don't know become your biggest fans.
Hmm.
Like, there's people that I know in real life that they don't support me, they don't watch my stuff, nothing like that. And there's people that I just meet, like I play with one game and we talk and we hit it off. And then they're in my stream, they're dropping subs, they're supporting every time I go live, they're there. And my real friends in real life, I'll play with them, they'll do whatever they do, and that's it. Like, they'll argue about stuff, they won't listen to me and things like that. And I'm more about just, I feel like I have the type of personality to where when I was younger, I brought people together to
Hmm.
cause destruction. Because there's people like, not that they have superpowers, but I'm very good with talking to people and bringing them together. So when I was young, I brought a lot of people for destruction. Like I would bring people together and I'd be, all this crazy rowdiness. Now I try to bring people together for support and to help each other.
I love that.
So, with my word, I talk to people and I bring them together because they all know me. So, off of my strength, they all mess with each other because they're like, well, if he messes with him, I'm a very real person. Like, I tell people how it is.
Hmm.
If I got to let them go, I got to let them go. I'll tell them, like, hey, look, I don't like you doing this and you doing that. And now that's it. I'm going to go my way, you go your way.
Right.
So, if I introduce people and I say, hey, this is my boy, they already know, like, okay, he's solid because he's not going to hang out with people that aren't solid. So that's one thing that you have to, I feel like people that are watching, you guys have to address that. You got to always keep solid people next to you because the next person's always going to, believe in what you say. Like you say, hey, this is my boy, they're going to treat him well.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I think it's really important you surround yourself with, people who got your back and that you got their back too. So I totally agree with that. I think there's like a quote like you are who like you surround yourself with, right? So if you're with people who are just sleazy and just not treating other people right, you're likely going to be doing the same. So I totally agree with that.
I mean, I don't believe in that. I believe in power of will, to be honest. I believe in like you can be around people that are, selling or doing whatever they're doing, like bad things, and you can still be yourself, but you just have to know who you are as a person. A lot of people they don't grasp who they are as a person. So whenever they put in these situations, like I've lived in the Bronx all my life and I've never smoked weed in my whole
Right.
life. And it's always been around me. Like people used to always tell me, they used to threaten me, oh, if you don't smoke, we're gonna do this, da da da. And I've never done it. And everyone around me has done it.
Mhm.
And that's just because I know the type of person I am and I
Yeah.
don't need it. Like I don't want it. You get what I'm saying? If I feel like if you know who you are, then wherever you are, you're gonna still stand up for yourself. You know, some people don't have that though. Some people are followers, and
Mhm.
that's where they fall into that category to where if they get put in a certain bad situation, they're just gonna go along with it because they don't want the repercussions of not doing it. But if they understand the repercussions, then they're gonna do it anyway, you know?
Yeah, definitely. No, I definitely respect that answer. So where do you think, because you said, some people are followers and some, you're able to be your own guy. Like, where do you think has allowed you to be like in that point where like, who you are? Because I think that's, a lot of people I'm sure are listening, even probably a lot of gamers, right? Probably in a spot where they don't feel like they really know who their true selves are. So do you have any advice there?
I mean, I would say it's trial and error to be
Hmm.
honest. Like I'm the type of person, you know, I'm an overthinker.
Hmm.
You know, I suffer with anxiety. I've had depression. I've been through it all, you know. But I've made friends that I felt like were my best friends, and they've done things that I feel like, you know, I can't come back from. So, you know, everything is gonna be like trial and error. You're gonna have friends that do crazy things, and you're going to have to deal with it. You're going to have to leave them, and you're going to have to see how times you're going to be by yourself.
Hmm.
But if you're by yourself and you could still be that same person and you could still push out to do everything that you want to do, then I feel like that's what makes you a winner.
Hmm.
If you're the person that, you know, something happens, someone makes a lie about you, because I've been in this community for a while, people have lied on me. People have said, you know, bad things about me. They've said that my community was toxic and all that, you know, at first, yes, it hurt me because I'm like, you know, I'm building this community, all these people trying to break it down. Close friends that I had were trying to take people that were in my community to their community and talk about me behind my back. So when you see all that happening, you just got to make sure that no matter what happens, you're still gonna keep pursuing because there are people like there's always gonna be people that believe you, and there's always gonna be people that you know they trust you.
Yeah.
So if you just give up, then they're gonna feel like those people won. They're gonna feel like, oh wow, he really was doing that because look, he stopped streaming. Look, he stopped being around. But if you stay around, let them say whatever they want to say, and keep being yourself. Eventually, people that are legit are gonna come your way because they're gonna be like, this guy is he's not going down. People are saying this, people are saying that, and he's still in our face throwing content, you know.
Yep.
Just keep being yourself. There's always I say it like there's always thousands of people everywhere, you know.
Hmm.
So if some people don't like you, there's always people that do like you,
Yep.
whether they're from Africa, whether they're from other countries, it doesn't matter, you know. And for streamers, treat people the same way. If you have one viewer, that doesn't matter. Don't be mad that you have one viewer. Treat one viewer like you have a whole show, like you have a whole 100 viewers, because that one viewer may tell his friends, and now you may have 5 viewers, you may have 10. Don't just, you know, change who you are because there's one person watching, and not give that person a full show. You know, that's one thing I believe in. If it's one person, even if I'm talking to myself, it doesn't matter. I'm still gonna stream, and I'm still gonna play, and I'm still gonna joke around. I'm still gonna be myself.
Yeah, I respect that, man. That's a really cool answer. I think it's some solid advice for sure. Don't ever compromise on your values and just be who you are, and don't let the haters, and the trolls get into your head. And especially with online games, there's a lot of trolls out there, especially
Oh
playing some
yeah, for
Xbox.
sure,
Oh
for
man,
sure.
yeah, definitely.
and and you can't let that get into your head. You know, I learned that because I don't know if you know, but I used to be a rapper. Like I was actually a rapper. I was signed to record labels and everything.
Nice.
And that's what made me come to gaming because, you know, I got screwed out of contracts, things like that. You know, I was signed to Bentley Records, you know, I was on the Source magazine, I was on all these magazines, and it was just like the music industry is so corrupt, and it was just like something that I did because you know I was trying to make it. Everybody's trying to make it as a rapper. You know, if
Yep.
they have the skill to freestyle and they have the skill to make music, I have both skills. So I was trying to do that. And then I realized why I was trying to do it. I was trying to do it because I was trying to make a better way. I was trying to get my message out there. When I noticed that my message wasn't getting out there, and I noticed that I was just putting out music and these people were just shelving me like the labels I was in, I was like, you know what? Gaming is something that I like to do, and gaming is something that I don't need a label behind me to do. All I need is myself. You know, when it comes to music, people don't understand that you can be the best rapper. Like I'm more of a lyricist, like I can actually rap. And you know, people don't care about that. It's all about money.
Hmm.
How much money can you put up? How much money can you put to get on a playlist? How much money can you put to get on a video? that's all it is. So you need a label because you can't do it by yourself. If you do it independent, it's going to take a very long time. It's going to take a whole bunch of years. And I'm already older. I'm 33 years old. I'm already older. So I wanted to do something that I love doing and something that I can, pass down. Like, look, now I play with my cousin's kids, they're
Mhm.
like 10 and 11, and I teach them how to play Fortnite. I give them settings, I play with them, I explain to them how things work and things like that. And I love doing that. I love like being able to teach other people. That's why I do, on TikTok, I've done tutorials and stuff explaining all my settings and things like that.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I actually didn't know. Well, I saw your name on Zoom. The Sprick. How do you pronounce that?
Spartify
Spartify.
raps
Okay.
at
Word.
gmail.com. Yeah.
Spotify raps. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I saw that. And I wondered, like, does he rap also? So that's cool that you brought that up. So,
Yeah.
do you still rap now, even though you kind of backed out of that?
I mean, bro, I would rap forever, like that's just like a given.
Right.
But it's just like, I just can't rap. I just can't rap commercial. Like I'm not gonna
Yep.
do it because
I
the
hear you.
last label I was in Bentley Records, and that name Spartify that I had, I actually lost that name because when I was younger, I signed to a label, and when I started doing like basically like endorsement deals and things like that on my actual name, which is Aramis Jean. Like I had Spartify, and Spartify it was to the label, so they hit me up and told me like, hey, anything that you do, we get a percentage of because it was something within my contract.
Wow.
So I basically gave up the whole name. I lost everything from that name, every song, everything, and made it Aramis Jean, which is my actual name. That's my actual music name. Like if you look it up on Spotify, that's my music name. So I made it that just so that I was able to do like, the sponsorships, things like that. And I had to start from scratch. Then I joined Bentley Records, signed to them. They told me that if I made an EP and I got all the original beats and stuff like that, they would push it out. So once I did it, they told me like, oh yeah, you got to sign with us 4 more years and then we'll push it out. So that's basically what they do to shelf artists. So I was just like, it's not worth it. So I just kind of left it, kept the EP on YouTube, kept it on, the platforms that it was on and just went along.
Nice. Yeah, I respect that. I've definitely heard from a lot of people that the music industry is pretty corrupt. So, yeah, it's sad to hear, but I'm glad to hear you stuck to your guns and just stuck true to yourself and were able to do that for yourself. So, I guess
And
yeah.
now I
Let's
do.
go back. Oh, what were you gonna
I
say?
was gonna say now sometimes like I'll do like parodies on. I don't know if you noticed. Yeah, I'll do like parodies on Instagram and stuff. You liked one of them, like the one I had the golden shower.
Oh
Like
yeah, yeah, that was funny. Yeah.
yeah, that was me rapping. Like I
Oh man.
just yeah, so like I switched up, lyrics and stuff like that because I can do that. I used to ghostwrite and stuff like that. So sometimes I'll get like a song and do a remix, like to do funny stuff.
Yeah.
And I can get like an AI and do a remix with somebody else's voice, like I did Extentacion singing Cupid and things like that. So it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that. That's cool. Putting your own spin on things and definitely like that's what I like about like going on your own is that you don't have anyone to tell you what you can do, what you can't do. You can just be yourself, which it sounds
Mm-hmm.
like that's really what you're all about is being yourself, being authentic. And I really like that. So definitely cool. I'm glad you shared that because I think that's really real and a lot of people can connect with that. So as far as gaming, I think we left off where you were like, you started joining the multiplayer. You done the you went to the
I did.
Gears of War. That was pretty toxic. Where did you go after that? And really quick before we go into that, how did you get over like like you said it was pretty toxic there? How did you get out of that toxic like
To be
mindset?
honest, to be honest, I'm not gonna lie. Like I like to be honest, all right?
Right.
I joined it. I was toxic. I
Hmm.
was I was like very, very toxic. Young, I was toxic. I didn't really know what was going on. And I was toxic back because I was a good player. So in my head, I was competitive. So like, they'll be toxic, I'll be toxic, we'll be toxic all together. I feel like genuinely I'm an asshole, right?
Hmm.
It's gonna sound funny, but I'm an asshole, but I get along with other assholes, and I don't like when assholes are mean to people. So I feel like people that say people are assholes is because they don't know how to take criticism. So my thing is like I learned the reason why I call myself an asshole is because I know how to defend myself. So let's say someone says something about me, I would defend myself. So to them, it's like, oh, he's an asshole because the way he was talking to him. But that's not what it is. It's just that me and that person have that type of relationship,
Right.
you know. So I learned that a lot of people that it seems like, you know, they're being mean to each other. That's how they get along.
Mhm.
Like, you know, they're just not sensitive. And I feel like me as a person, I'm not a sensitive person. Like someone could tell me like, hey, you're trash. And I can be like, hey, your mother's trash. You know, something like that. But then we can laugh about it. But some
Yep.
people will really take that offensively. So it's more like a lot of people that are around me, it's hard to have feelings because, you know, we joke around. And there's been times like where I have to break it down and let them know because people have gotten mad at the people that I hang out with, and they'd be like, "Oh, dude, they're all attacking me and blah blah blah." And I tell them, "Hey, man, look, they do it to me. They do it to each other. No one's singling you out. Don't
Right.
think that you're getting singled out. We all do it to each other. So if it was like they were only attacking you, then I would say something. But we're all doing it to each other. If you feel like doing it to them, do it to them. They already know the repercussions that come with doing it to somebody. They know that it may come back to them because I tell everybody whatever you do comes back to you. So
Hmm.
if you decide to, you know, say something, take them kind of names, and they roast you, don't get mad because you know you're roasting.
Right.
You know, that's one thing. Some people are very emotional and they can't handle roast, but they want to roast other people. And I tell everybody in my discords, I'd be like, hey man, look, you roast somebody and they roast you, you started it. If you stay quiet and you don't say nothing, they're not going to start with you. But if they're arguing with someone and you jump in, you're just a target. You're throwing yourself in the fire. You know, like be ready to get burned.
Yep.
You know, you have to let people know. That's how I feel about that.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I appreciate that being like open and honest because there's definitely I think there's like two different kind of like toxicity. There's one just being like just a straight like asshole for no reason, but then there's
Mm-hmm.
one that's like more just playing around, right? Because I think I see that with a lot of gaming circles where your friends just kind of make fun of each other or like kind of joke around
Mm-hmm.
with each other, and I feel like that's a bit different than what I see sometimes within gaming, where someone's just really just being like an ass to someone for no reason, right? So
And sometimes I can't lie, man. Sometimes like it sucks to say it, but sometimes it's built anger. Like there was times, you know, when I was playing Gears and I was toxic, and I just had a lot of problems at home, and I just felt like I wanted to argue with somebody.
yep,
So like the person won't be doing nothing. I'll be like, yo, you suck, you're trash. And like I just wanted that reaction out of them
yep,
because I was miserable myself.
mhm,
So I wanted to make other people miserable. And once I got older and I learned that, that was the key factor to everything because I was like, why? I was like, if I was the one that someone's telling me I'm trash and I'm not doing nothing, I'm not even talking to them, why is that? And then in my mind, I was like, well, I'm miserable. You know,
mhm,
I'm have this going on at home. My dad's doing this, you know, like all this craziness. And I just wanted to argue. I wanted somebody to pick on. And that was a bad way to think.
mhm,
So as I got older, I was like, I'm not doing that. You know, like
mhm,
I'll defend myself, but I'm not gonna make someone feel any, you know, that's one big thing with me. Like even when I was younger and I was, you know, in high school, I was on the baseball team, but a lot of people wanted to be around me, but I didn't want to be around a lot of people. I was very to myself, introvert. But if they were picking on somebody, I was one to defend them
mhm.
because I was like a fighter. I was, you know, I was a bad kid, so I was a fighter. So like if I would see like older people or like people that I know picking on like a kid with glasses or something, or like a kid with those big book bags, I'll be like, bro, like why are you picking on him? Pick on me. Like what are you doing? You know, because that's sad. Like these people are going to school because they want to go to school, or like some of them are poor, so they have, you know, they can't afford the same stuff we have.
Yep.
So that's not something that you pick on because we've all, well, I've been in that boat to where, you know, my family didn't have for me. But luckily in high school, you know, I got my own job and I worked at a sneaker store, so I always had Jordans and stuff. But when I would see these kids that, you know, come from other countries and things like that, and my people that I know try to pick on them, I'm like, dude, like pick on me like that, don't,
Mhm.
you know, don't pick on them. Because that's one thing you have to do. You have to stand up for what you believe in. And if you believe in that, you know, everyone's goes through the struggle, and you have to keep that in mind because, you know, I was from the Bronx. We were poor.
Yep.
So just the fact that I got a job and started working at a sneaker store doesn't mean nothing. I've been through poverty. I know what it's like to have to be, you know, in the street. So it's a lot different.
Yeah, man, I respect that. I think there's a lot to be said about standing up for your values and you know
And
helping other
standing up
people
for
when
other
they need
people,
help too.
bro.
Sure.
Sometimes you have to stand up for other people, bro. I
Yep.
learned that. I learned that That's why I don't know if you've noticed, but on TikTok, I do this thing called thought process. And I started that because I felt like a lot of people would always tell me, like, how did you clutch that? And in my mind, I'm like, bro, what do you mean? How did I clutch that? But then I realized that they don't think the same way that I think. So I would hit a clip and explain what I was thinking when that clip was hit. Like, I'll be like, okay, I saw that he was coming. I knocked him. And now I know that me knocking him, he's yelling to his teammate that he's knocked. So I'm gonna get height, shoot him, crack him. He's gonna run to try to heal. I'm gonna kill this third guy, and then when this guy comes back from healing, I'm gonna kill him. Like explaining that. A lot of people reached out to me on TikTok and was like, "Bro, I didn't think like that. I just thought running and shoot." And I'm like, bro, you have to, you
Yeah.
have to figure out, you have to play, you have to get game sense to figure out who's where, who's gonna push, who's closest to you, who can do the most damage, what guns do they have in their hands. Like you need to know all these things. And I've played with really good players, like Apex players, Overwatch players, all kinds of players, and I've learned from them. Before I was ignorant. I didn't want to learn from nobody. I thought I was the man. I thought I was the best. But once I've learned that there's just naturally some people that are better than you because they put in more practice than you, and I started, instead of like thinking that they were insulting me, telling me I'm trash, I started thinking that they're trying to help me. Because anyone hears they're trash, they're gonna get like a fire, fueled in them. Like, oh, he's calling me trash. I'm gonna show him I'm better. So then I just started, instead of going against them, telling them like, hey, is there anything I can fix? Yeah, man, game sense. You need to pay attention to your surroundings. You need to this, you need to that.
Mhm.
And now when I tell people that, they don't understand. They're like, game sense. I just go in there, shoot my gun, and hope to clutch. No, because you don't know what's going on around you. You need to see the whole any game. You need to know what's going on around you. You need to know who's coming, who opened that door. Does he have a shotgun in his hand? Is he trying to get close? Because if he got a shotgun, he's not going to shoot you from 10 miles away. He's trying to get closer to you. So either you create distance between them because he has a shotgun, or you have a shotgun and you get an angle and you shoot him first with your shotgun. Like things like that is really has to be said. And I feel like for gamers that are coming up, you have to learn from the people that you feel are better than you. Don't feel like just because they're better than you, or they tell you, hey, you suck, blah blah blah, or they talk bad on you. If you tell them that you want help, they will help you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great advice. Yeah, asking for help is a lot of people kind of shy away from it, but it's so important. It can help
Yeah.
you just take your gaming to the next level. I love that you do those. Actually, I haven't seen those videos. I'll have to take a look for those on your
On
TikTok.
TikTok,
That's really
Smackyourbowlcut.
cool.
It's Yeah, and those are like, they're for. I did them for Apex before, but I do them for Fortnite. I don't know what games you play. I haven't asked you, because it's my interview, so I don't know if I could ask you what games you play. But for any games, that's good to do.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I definitely played a couple different shooter games. I play BattleBit Remastered right now, and I played Call of Duties and Halos back in the day and all that. So
Oh,
definitely
so you
play
were
a.
around the Halo days, so
Oh yeah, the
like
Halo days. Yeah, definitely know a lot of toxicity from back at Xbox Live there, for
yeah,
sure.
that was Halo was crazy, man. Like Halo 3, Halo 2. I even played Combat Evolved on PC.
Oh yeah.
Like that was toxic. I'm like, how is this toxic? Like people in the little chat getting toxic. And that's great though. But I feel like for gamers coming up, if the people are toxic and you feel like they're better than you, just watch their gameplay,
Mhm.
learn from what they do, and if you die, instead of being like, "Oh, I died. This kid is trash. He killed me." Just think to yourself like, "How did he kill me? Why did he kill me? Like what made him
Mhm.
get the advantage? And what was the mistake that I made that he killed me?" That's the most important thing, is knowing the mistake that you made, because every 1v1 is like chess. So whether it's Apex, whether it's Gears, whether it's anything, it's chess. So as soon as one person makes that mistake can be a bullet that hits you for 200 health.
Oh yeah,
And
definitely.
that's once that person sees that you made that mistake and he hit you for 200, that's an automatic push and you're dead unless you get lucky. So you have to make sure that you get them nervous enough to make that mistake. Like I try to make people nervous. I literally like I'll I'll do shit that just throws people off. Like I'll run, open a door, and you think I'm gonna run through that door. I'll climb up, hit the top with my pickaxe, and then slide down the back. So you're like, this motherfucker opened the door, didn't walk through the door. He broke the top, didn't jump down. Where is he? And then I'm just whoop, right behind you.
Hmm.
You're like, what's going on? Because people are always tricked by these little things.
Yep.
Like if you're doing something and you're distracted, like let's say I throw a rock over there, you're gonna look over there. So you're gonna think like, okay, he's trying to go around. But if I throw a rock over there, then throw a rock over here, then start running this way, you're gonna be like, oh wait, I heard a rock over there, over there. Where is he? And then boom, once you pop up, now that person panics, switches his gun mid switch. I'm just shooting him for like 200 damage, and he's dead.
Yep.
So it's playing. When you guys think of games, think of chess. Just think of playing chess. Think of the wrong move will get you killed. You climb up. If you climb up, you're not shooting. So you got to think like that's 3 seconds that you're climbing up that you're not shooting. And if a person's a good player, they're gonna sit there and beam you while you're climbing, and no bullets are coming out. And now you're dead. So you have to pretend to climb, jump back down. Now he's looking, you jump back down. Now he's trying to find you. Now you run somewhere else. You hit something. Now he thinks you're over there. Now you run. You just trick them. It's like trick. That's what I would say for that.
Yeah, definitely some good advice. Switch things up, keep people on their toes. Can never go
Mhm.
wrong. And then just being aware of what you did wrong. I
And
think that takes a lot.
aim.
It's important to
Practicing your
do.
aim. Practicing your aim is I never knew because I thought I was a good Fortnite player. Every time if you ever watch my stream, before I start streaming, I go into the range for an hour and I shoot bots that jump. And at first I was like, this is boring. Who's gonna sit here and shoot bots? But when I'm in game and I learn that like doing that, it's just muscle memory for
Yep.
my brain. So whenever I'm in actual fights with people that are not bots and they're jumping and stuff, doing all kinds of zip line jumps, I'm hitting them for 200 damage. Like I'm killing them, melting them. Today I had some of the craziest team wipes that I'm going to be posting on Instagram. Like I was melting people, 200 damage each. Like just and I'm like, damn, I got aimbot. Like I kept saying on my stream, like, oh, I have aimbot. Like it doesn't make sense because practicing is you can think you're the best. No one is the best. Even somebody like Vegeta, Goku, they still practice.
Mhm.
They've beaten gods and they still practice.
Yep.
Vegeta was never satisfied. So he may get beat up a lot, but you got to think about Vegeta, guys. Like he was always training. He never stopped training.
Mhm.
Regardless, he fought, he beat all these people. Goku beat fucking gods, and they still were training. They
Yep.
still. So you have to think like that. Your aim is your strongest strong suit. So you got to make sure that your aim, if you shoot at somebody, you don't want that person to get away. You want to be able to hit that person for 200 damage. That person's not. There's no time for him to get away because your beam is so crazy.
Yeah, definitely. You're right on. I totally agree with practicing. What got you into practicing in the first place?
So I had a friend. His name is Asylum, and he's the type of person like I wouldn't say he's an asshole. He's a bro for a long time, but he is kind of an asshole. Like the way he carries himself. He's a good player. He's been a good player, for a long time. So he was just like, yo, you're trash. Like he was a really good Fortnite player. So he's like, man, you're trash. And we played builds. I got to see him build, and I got to see how good he was. And I was just like, hey man, yo, like you're really good. Like he was carrying me. He was blocking me in, like killing everybody, wiping out teams. And I was like, hey dude, like what do you think I could do to get better? He sat there and he showed me like a sensitivity. He showed me his sensitivity. He showed me like playing linear and things like that. And then he went against me. He taught me like, right hand peeking, things like that. And I learned, but I didn't just take the information he gave me. Like he gave me that information and then I went and I practiced it. He's
Mhm.
the one that showed me that range and all that stuff. And then I practiced it. Now when me and him run together, it's like I feel a lot more confident. Like I feel like he knows that I can shoot and he knows that he doesn't have to worry. Before I felt like he would run on his own because he knew that I was gonna die. So
Yep.
he'd be like, he's just a bot. He's just gonna die. Now I feel like he's more like works together with me. Like he's more like, okay, well, he's got gun skill. He practices. So now I'm gonna run with him. And a lot of times, one thing that's funny about that is like he makes jokes. Like he'll be like, "Oh yeah, call me sensei" and blah blah, blah and things like that. But I feel like if someone teaches me something, I always give them credit, regardless of whatever. Like whether there's girls in the lobby, whether there's guys in the lobby, better players than me. I'd be like, hey man, this is the guy that taught me. Because I feel like you should always give flowers for where they do. I
Yep.
had people that taught me how to rap, and I still give them flowers. I was taught how to rap by old MCs that were like really good multi-syllabic rappers. So when it comes to rapping, I could do multi-syllabics, like all that extra shit. And that was Hades who taught me how to rap like that. He was an old school rapper who got underground Grammys and everything. So I always give him credit. And the same thing with gaming. If someone teaches you something, give them credit. Hey man, so whenever there's girls there, I don't change who I am. I don't be like, yeah, I'm the best. I don't say that. I'll be like, yeah, Asylum, he showed me some settings, and I got a lot better from learning from him. And if y'all want to learn from him, y'all ask him. Always give credit where it's due.
Definitely. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. I love the part about showing the credit and just being humble about where you learn the information, because like it's nothing to hide really. It's just like there's nothing wrong with asking for help or getting better. And I think that's actually like a sign of just strength, like
Mm-hmm.
knowing, hey, I need to work on myself, and then like having the courage to be like, yo, dude, you are better than me. Can you show me? Like, I love that story. It's really cool, really powerful. So hopefully, some people listening here tonight can take that and like take up and level up their game, or ask someone else that they know is better than them and ask for help too, because I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I
Um,
even I even went into Apex coaching also. I was doing Apex coaching for esports team called Emerge. And things like that, like something with me is I just love helping people because I feel like when I was younger, I did a lot of bad things. And I feel like as I got older, I want to help people because I don't want to be that person that goes out, being, toxic or like goes out and no one cares. I want to be that person that, regardless of whatever, I made a difference. That's why I still have my music on YouTube and stuff like that. And sometimes I have depressing music. Like I have a lot of depressing music because sometimes that was my outlet. Like I would just write songs because I was sad,
yep,
or because I was depressed. The world that we're in is kind of depressing. So
yeah,
like there's a lot of times that you just want to express yourself, so you just want to say what other people won't dare to say. And there was times I did that, like talking about medications and talking about this and talking about that. And depression is not something to play with, and anxiety is not something to play with. It's a real thing. And I feel like people that don't go through it, they don't understand that. They think it's like in your mind, or think like the person's mental and stuff like that. So I kind of wanted people to know, like, hey, it's a thing. We all have it. We all feel it. You're not the only one that feels it. You know what I mean? That's what I wanted to do with music. And in gaming, it's the same thing. Like when people come in, they talk to me. They're like, "Hey, man, I'm depressed. I'm this. I'm that." Bro, I've been there. I've been to the bottom, and I know what it's like. And I know what it's like to go down into a hole and feel stuck and not be able to come out of it. But there's always, whenever there's a rainy day, there's always a sunny day the next day. And one thing that I want to share with you that I learned a long time ago was, something that made me change my whole perspective on life is two things. I met this guy from the army. He was in war and stuff. Young guy, like probably like in his like early 20s. He he was always smiling at the gym, and I was a personal trainer. So this guy, every time he would go in there, he'd have his like his uniform and stuff, and he would always have like this big smile. And I would just be like so like depressed and like, oh man, bills and whatever, whatever. And he would just be this smile from ear to ear. So one day I just couldn't take it. And I was just like, bro, how are you always so happy?
yeah,
Like, do you not get depressed? So, he was sitting down, he was doing abs, and he was like, bro, I'm gonna tell you something. He's like, look, he's like, when I was in the army, I had close friends, right? And he was like, we all transferred so that we can be together, like to the same platoon or whatever.
hmm,
And he's like we were on a mission to where we were trying to secure something. We were in these ATVs, whatever. He said that his best friends, he said he had four best friends, whatever, and they were in a separate ATV. The ATV that they were in hit a landmine, like a trip mine. They all died. So he was like, body parts, everything all over their car, like all his friends' body parts. And he was like, I saw that, and I broke down to a point that is like no one should be there. And he was like, but I realized that, from all them losing their lives and all this things happening, he was like, you have to enjoy every moment in life because, they didn't know that was happening. He's like, before that, they were joking before they got in the car, and boom, that happened. So he was like, so I try to smile through pain because he was like, if you give into pain, you just cause more pain for yourself. So he was like, if you smile through pain, you know, eventually you're gonna bring people. He was like, you're gonna attract people that are happy also. So he's like, a lot of times when I'm working out and stuff and I'm smiling, a lot of nice people come up to me. They talk to me, they make me feel wanted. He's like, if I'm depressed, no one's gonna talk to me. If I'm sad, everyone's gonna stay away from me. So I want people to talk to me because I'm really by myself. So I like when people talk to me. I like when people, they look at me. He's like you see how you're talking to me now.
Yeah.
He's like, if I was look depressed, you wouldn't be talking to me. You'd think like, hey, let me leave that guy alone. You thought like, why am I so happy all the time? But then he was like, but I'm not happy. So I shared with him my theory. And my theory, I told him, I said, well, I have a similar theory. My theory is, I was in the bottom. I was like rock bottom. I had my dad going, doing whatever he was doing, and my mom just wasn't around at the time, and I was just in a very dark place. I was drinking. I was very dark place. And I thought to myself, you know, I had a dream, and on that dream, I was on a raft. I mean, it could have been because I was drunk, obviously. You're drunk and everything's spinning. So that dream, I was on a raft in the middle of the ocean. That was my dream, right?
Mhm.
And I woke up and I remembered that. I was like, what the, like, why, why am I on a raft in the middle of the ocean? Like, am I that drunk that I'm just spinning around? And then I thought to myself, like, wow, like maybe it was a message. I said, I'm on a raft in the middle of the ocean. I can drown myself, I can paddle, or I can just sit still. So I basically took that, and that's been my everyday life theory because that's what it is. You're trapped in a spot. Now, either you can move from that spot, you can drown yourself in that spot, or you can sit in that spot and let time pass you by. So, you're in the middle of the ocean. You can paddle, you don't know where you're going to go, but you still have the will to paddle. Or you drown yourself, or you sit there and just watch the world pass you by. So, ever since I thought to myself like that, it's like either I'm paddling, I'm sinking, or I'm sitting and not doing nothing. So, that's a really good way to think about it. Like, if you're ever in that dark place, because what are you going to do? You're in the middle of the ocean. There's nothing you can possibly do. You don't have no alternatives. You can't talk to people about your problems. It's all on you. At the end of the day, you have a ship. Your body is your ship. Your brain is your ship. You're the captain of your ship. The day that you let someone else control your ship, that's letting somebody else control your movements. That's letting somebody else control your brain. And that's the day that you're not yourself anymore because you're not the captain. Anybody tries to become captain of my brain, I'm throwing them off. They walk in the plank. like, pirate talk. They walk in the
Yep.
plank. You control it. So I feel like those are really good things, two really good things that I heard, and I feel like that helps me with life all the time.
Yeah, that's definitely a powerful story, man. I really appreciate you sharing that. I was in a dark place in my life too, and had a similar experience. Like I found that you know really like I could choose to sit there like and just wallow in my pain, or I could do something about it and change things. So I really like that story, and I really like that your perspective. And then yeah, just I think it can help a lot of people because I know there's a lot of people who are just in their
Yeah,
depression right now.
especially nowadays,
Hmm.
man. Like these years and stuff, man. Like everything is computer generated. You don't get those interactions that you got back then. Like I
Yeah.
remember throwing rocks at girls' windows and like calling people out the windows, hanging out, going to play basketball. Now you have 2K. You don't be outside. You don't be interacting. So when you do have to interact at a family event or at a party, you don't know how to act because you've never been outside. You're fucking locked in a behind a controller.
Yep.
So when you do, the anxiety is crazy, and it's like, oh my god, like I'm around real people, like what's going on, and that's sad, but that's the world that we're in now. Everything is, when I was growing up, we had like a Macintosh computer, fucking playing Minesweeper or
Yeah.
fucking math games. Like these motherfuckers have everything. They have the internet. When I was coming up, the internet was just getting seen, like AOL, you had to connect through the fucking dial up
Yeah,
and
the
all that
dial up.
shit.
Yeah.
You hear a weird ass noise. You had to unplug your house phone, like things like that, man. These kids got cell phones. They fucking got iPhones,
Mhm.
FaceTime, and like we never had FaceTime, bro. You wanted to see someone, you had to go take a train, walk, go see them, face to face. There was no FaceTime. We thought that shit was impossible. Like, how are you gonna see someone's face across the world through a phone? So it's sad, but it's the world that we live in. And a lot of the music and stuff, like, I'm a big Extentacion fan, Juice World fan, but they're very depressing people.
Yeah.
So if you got kids that grow up on that type of music, they're gonna feel like that.
Mhm.
They're gonna feel like, oh, these drugs and whatever. I had a friend, his name, he was actually famous. His name was, I don't know if you ever heard of him, Hella Skechers.
I don't think I have. No.
Well, he was a big Little Peep fan, right? And he made sad boy music, of course. And me and him, we were cool. We used to talk on Instagram and stuff. And he was 18 and he passed away. He killed himself off of pills.
Wow.
And I feel like he did it because Little Peep did it. And because he followed in everything Little Peep did. Like, he sang the same, he had pink hair, he had
Mhm.
pink nails, and he was a cool dude, but just the influence of Little Peep around him. Little Peep
Yeah.
was always talking about drugs and always talking about, these drugs gonna kill me and all this stuff. And when Little Peep passed away, he couldn't handle it. So he did the same thing Little Peep did, and he ended up overdosing. 18 years old, gone.
Mhm.
And it's like, that's why I feel like music is very influential, and you have to be careful what you say, because a lot of people catch on to it. Extentacion, a lot of people are depressed because of X,
Yep.
because X wasn't afraid to say what was on his mind. He would say depression got me like this and that. Like, he would, at first he was evil and he would tell people to riot, and then before he passed away, he became good. That's when he had the purple dreads and he was trying to bring peace. Hey, guys, y'all should be nice to each other. Don't listen to other people. Like, he started being nice. But at first, he was a menace. He came out telling people to go fight in his concerts and go fucking have riots and mosh pits. But he realized that what he was doing was influencing so many people that he was like, you know what? Let me try to fix it. Unfortunately, he passed away, but at least before he left, he tried,
Yeah.
and that's what I remember him as. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, I was a big X fan, but when he first came out, I was not a fan. I removed him. I unfollowed him off Instagram. I didn't like that he was promoting violence. I didn't like that he was just a demon. But when he started, making songs where it was like he was explaining the anxiety, he was explaining the depression, I was just like, okay, he's trying now. He's trying to help kids that don't have outs. So
Yep.
that's when I followed him again and started supporting him. And then he unfortunately passed away.
Yeah, that's sad. That's super sad. At least he, yeah, you're right. I mean, at least he was able to realize, hey, I'm influencing people towards the wrong way and make that change.
Yeah.
And I love that you're using your stream to help people, in the same way of helping other people, because I think that's desperately needed. So I have a question for you, real quick. So, how do you balance like gaming and real life? Because I know that can be kind of an easy thing to just get like only play games like all the time, and not want to go back into the real world, especially when you all are dealing with like depression. You're like, man, just the world is just so shitty right now. I just don't want to go deal with it. I want to just play games instead. How do you
I
take
mean,
that balance?
so for me, I just feel like it all depends on your mission.
Mhm.
Like, what is your mission? Like, for now, my mission is to, build a community. So one thing that is a big thing about Twitch streamers and things like that, you have to always support other Twitch streamers. So let's say, like, I'm not streaming, right? I'm in other people's streams. I'm finding people in the same niche as me and I'm supporting them. So let's say you, for instance, right? Like, you do podcasting, right? So you find people that do podcasting, you hang out in their podcast, you talk, you give your input. They're going to feel like, well, he supports me, so I'm going to support him. So that's how your interviews are going to be, blowing up, because you're finding people within your niche, you're meeting people, and you're supporting them. Support is the most important thing that you can find.
Yep.
So for me, it's like whenever I'm not streaming, I'm supporting other people. I'm in their streams, watching them play Fortnite, maybe giving them advice, maybe like, hey man, throwing their emotes in there, being in there because I want to be in there, not being in there because I'm expecting them to come to mine. Once you learn that, you become a friend to them and you become like, look, we met today. So now when you do your podcast, you're gonna see me in there like, hey, yo, yeah, that's what's up. You know what I'm saying? Because I support you and I feel like I like how you approach the situation today. You know how to talk, you know the questions to ask, and this is something that you seem passionate about. So of course, me as a person, I feel that you feel passionate about this, so I'm going to support your passion. You get what
Nice.
I'm saying?
Yeah, I
that's
appreciate it.
just that's just how the world works.
Mhm.
So it's like you have to give and not expect nothing in return, because I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, I'm going to be in your podcast, but you need to come to my stream. No. If you want to come to my stream, hey, show up, but I'm not forcing you, and I'm not going to tell you you need to. I'm still going to support you regardless if you do, regardless if you don't, because I like the point that you put across, and I like what you do for other artists and what you do for other gamers. That's how it's going to be. You get what I'm saying? When it comes to as far as in real life, you have to know the difference. You have to be able to, still be able to live a regular life. But if gaming is your life, then hey man, make sure that that life, you know what I'm saying, you have a goal for it.
Yep.
Don't just play games with no goal. That's what I would say. If you're going to be like a 24-hour gamer, hey, if you want to be a professional Fortnite builder or whatever, make sure that that time that you're spending on the game, you're practicing. Make sure that that time you're spending on the game, you're networking. Make sure that whatever you're trying to do, there's a plan behind it. Don't just play games without having a plan. I play games and I meet other streamers. If you watch my streams, I play with other streamers. I support their community. I, talk to them. I see like, oh, hey man, what's been working for you? Things like that. It's not trying to take their fan base. It's not trying to do anything like that. It's just learning how to get up to that level. Because you tell somebody like Ninja, he's not gonna tell you. You know what I'm saying? Because he's already up there. He's so far up there. And one thing with me is when I was up there in rapping and I was on magazines and stuff, because you could look up Aramis Jean right now on Google, you'll see me. Like it'll say I help other artists, it'll say everything that I do, right? So when I was up there, I would go into Overwatch rap lobbies and just rap with randoms. Like literally just go in there and just start spitting fucking crazy bars. And people would be like, dude, who is this guy? I'm a signed rapper rapping with rappers that have nothing to do with nothing, that are like, oh yeah, check it. Oh, but and I'm in there like da 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 going crazy. And I would do that to show them like, hey man, anybody can do it. I'm a rapper, I'm signed, and I'm still here rapping with y'all. I don't care about that. I'm here because I like the fact that you guys want to rap. You guys want to learn how to rap. That's why I'm here. It wasn't nothing like me trying to show off like, yo, y'all suck. I'm gonna come in here and just
Yeah.
rap. No, I would go in there and if they ask me something, I'll be like, well, if you want to do multisyllabics, you rap double words and you do this, you do that. And I would teach them and I would build their confidence because they'll see me rapping and they'll think I'm an asshole. They'll be like, oh, this kid's nice. Oh, he's coming in here to show off. No, I'm like, yo, man, like any of y'all can do it.
Mhm.
Y'all want to learn how to rap like this? I'll help y'all. There was a guy, his name was Vicious Devour, and he came in, he used to rap. I think he was decent. He was a decent rapper, but he didn't have cadence. He didn't have like that, that kind of flow.
Yeah.
So he was always like, "Oh, I want to be a rapper." He's a white boy. He want to be a rapper, whatever. And he heard me rapping. He's like, "Yo, man, yo, you rap so good, bro. Every time we in the lobby, I'm gonna invite you and blah blah blah." So I go in there, I rap with him. He's like, "Yo, you're so good." So one time I told him, I said, "Hey, man, you could do that too. You just gotta have cadence." He's like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Your presence. You have to build a presence. When you rap, you have to make believe that you're rapping to like 1,000 people. You can't just like mumble. You gotta like give them that like yeah, I'm about to like give them that aggression. He started doing it. He became way better. He started keeping up with me. We'd be in the lobbies. He'd be like, da, 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 da. I'm like, damn, okay. And I was happy for that. And I pulled him to the side and I told him like, yo, bro, I'm proud of you, bro, because other people, I tell them shit, they don't listen. You sat there and you learned it, and you deserve me to tell you that you're nice now. You got this yourself. If you're in a lobby, you could hold down that lobby yourself. You don't need me in there telling you how to help people or stuff like that. You could do it yourself. And till this day, he still hits me up and be like, "Yo, bro, let's freestyle." Or like, I'll be in a party, he'll go in there and just start rapping, and be like, "What's up?" Like, just joking around. Like, dude, I'm in the middle of a game, and he's like trying to battle me. Like, "Yo, check it." I'm like, bro, it's funny though, because it's love. You know what I mean? But my friends are like, "Oh, damn, bro, he's roasting you," and I'm like, "Dude, like we're in the middle of end game, bro. This guy's over here spitting 1,000 miles an hour."
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's a really cool story. I love that you were like, it's like I've heard like a similar like theme throughout your whole thing is like learning from other people, teaching other people, and it's just like it's all about really about building that community and building friendships and building, you know, like just
Building a
like
solid community,
yeah,
solid.
exactly.
You know, don't get those trolls and stuff like that.
Mhm.
If there's trolls, you have to understand trolls. The way to deal with trolls is trolling them back, because trolls like when you troll them back. If there's a troll and you get into your feelings, that troll targets you even more. They're like,
Mhm.
"Oh, you're such a bitch. Look at you." La, 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 la. But if you're like, "Oh yeah, your mom too," it's like they're like, "Wait a second, what?" Like they don't expect you to come out of character. Like I don't say curse them out or do something crazy like that or say some really outrageous things, but just like, hey man, like go along with them.
Yep.
Or if they're like, "Yo, you suck," you're like, "Yeah, I'm a trash can on fire." Like because they don't know what to say. They're like, yeah, yeah, well, yeah, yeah, you missed every shot. Yeah, I know. I missed every shot on purpose. And they're like, what? They just get confused and they'll either leave or they'll be like, I like you, and they'll follow you. Because you know how many trolls I've had follow me, and then over time they become like some of the biggest supporters,
Mhm.
and they come into my stream like, yo, you the goat and things like that, because they seen me play over time. Off of one person watching you one time, they're not gonna know how good you are until they see the progression within your journey as becoming a gamer. If you want to become a Fortnite builder, if you want to become like me right now, I'm trying to be really good at no builds. So lately I've been getting some sweaty lobbies, and I've been getting rolled. I'm not gonna lie, I've been getting rolled, but I'm trying to learn how to adapt to those lobbies, because before they put you in bot lobbies when you first start, and they put you in lobbies with kids that don't really know what they're doing. But as you go, like right now I have like 34, 35 crown wins. So that means that I won, got a crown, and then kept it through the next game. So that's a lot of wins. So now they're putting me with more TTV kids and more like kids that really fucking try.
Yep.
So I'm learning how to adapt to those kids. What do they do to kill me? How do they kill me? How can I not focus on my team and try to be better myself so that I can carry by myself?
Mhm.
Because depending on the team is very tough, because depending on the team, what I've learned is you never know what the team wants to do. The team may just go out and die, and you'll be by yourself. And I used to have a problem where, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. I'm not saying you relate to it, but I had a problem before where I wasn't confident, right? So I went through the spree where I wasn't confident, and if my teammates died, I thought the game was over. Like I would literally quit the game.
Mhm.
I'd be like, I'm dead. There's no point. Now, when my teammates die, I have like a hunger to survive, and I'm telling them like, yo, don't worry, I'm gonna get you, bro. Like, I'm gonna kill whoever I see, and I'm gonna get you. But before, it was lack of confidence that I had. So when they would die, I would get nervous, and the nerves would take over, and I would be like, okay, well, I'm dead. I'm just gonna leave. I'm just gonna drop everything and leave. And I see people do that. Like, there's a lot of people that I kill their team, and I'm running towards them, and instead of them like thinking of a way to kill me, they drop all their shit and leave. And I'm like, dude, you're gonna give up? Like what? You might have killed me. You never
Mhm.
know. So that's one thing that I had to overcome. I had to overcome being afraid of losing.
Mhm.
Because if you're afraid of losing, you'll always be a loser,
Yep.
because you're afraid of losing. If you're not afraid of losing, then you're a winner, because you not being afraid of losing, you're going to give it your all. And if you lose, it doesn't matter, because the next game you're going to try even harder. So, I've had like two teams push me, and I knew I wasn't going to make it out alive, but I wanted to see how long can I stay alive fighting them.
Yep.
How many people can I knock? How much damage can I do? Before I go, someone's dying. Someone's getting knocked. Like that's my theory.
Yeah.
Someone is getting knocked. I don't care what's going on. Someone's gonna get knocked. Maybe two get knocked, and then the whole team swarms me. But I knocked those two people, and I let those two people know that all four of them pushing me, I still knocked two of them. And if their two friends weren't there, they would have died.
Mhm.
Now they're thinking to themselves like, "Damn, that kid knocked us by himself without his team." And that's a good thing to think, like,
Yep.
see what you can do before you die.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's pairs really well with what you talked about, how like learning from your mistakes, you know, like not being scared to fail, because usually in your failures, that's where you can learn the most, right? Like just like you were talking about, like, oh, what could I have done differently? Could I have done like, could I acted kind of crazy? You know, could I have done
Mm-hmm.
something different to psych them out? You know, and learning from your mistakes, and then, you know, taking that mindset of like, oh, I'm good enough to be able to do this. You know, I can do this. And yeah, actually, to your point, I wasn't actually very confident. I like if you would have asked me if I was like would have been like hosting a podcast or just even talking in front of people, I would have like laughed at you probably 5 years ago. Like, yeah, right. Because I used to be like that kid, like shaking in front of class, you know, like stuttering and stuff. And I had to change my mindset. You know, I had to go and like look myself in the mirror and like, yo, I can do this. You know, I am good enough. I am enough. Like that's why I have this room behind me on my whiteboard. I am enough, because it's something that I had to deal
It's a
with in my
powerful
life where I didn't
message.
feel like I was enough for my whole life. You know, so I look at that every day, and I want that as a reminder for anyone who comes here that they are enough. You know, they are good enough. They are able to handle what they need to handle. They are good enough to, you know, enjoy their life, to not be sitting in depression or anxiety or addiction. You know, and they're able to, you know, be themselves, and that is
And that
enough. So.
that's a great thing. That's why on my Instagram name I got something patented and it's on my PC too. It says Empla. And you know the whole thing behind that was Empla, if you write it out, it's helped me backwards.
Oh.
So the whole thing was behind it was a lot of people don't like to ask for help. So it was Empla, like it was a way to show that you need help without saying it, because a lot of people don't want to admit they need help. So Empla was like, you know, people like, what's Empla? Read it backwards. You're asking for help without asking, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a really good movement that I had going and stuff like that. And it was kind of like the same thing, like you said. And I love like, you know, podcast kind of things and things like that, because people get to see what a person's actually thinking. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Through games, you can't see that. Through clips, you
Yep.
know, I may be talking my shit like, "Oh, I'll get smoked" and stuff like that, but you don't know what type of person I am. You can take that as, "Oh, he's an asshole," or "Oh, he's cocky," but you don't know like really how I feel about it and the reason why I do what I do. Now you know why I do what I do, but that's more the reason. Like I want to see how many people I can help. My music, you know, I had a song that I did a long, long time ago, and it was like really bad quality. It was you know, it was a very sad song. It was like
Mm-hmm.
depressing song. And I have people that message me on Instagram and they'd be like, "Yo, man, I still listen to that song." And I'm like, it's called Waiting. And I'm like, "What? You still listen to that? That's so long ago." Like, but it's a very depressing song. And when I did it, I put myself in a situation to where I put myself into somebody that, you know, just was going through it, and I did it, and it was just like they still listen to it to this day. So it still gets plays, and I'm just like, you know, you never know what you can put out and someone can relate to.
Yep. Definitely. You know, I love that. Yeah, I mean, especially with the days like day and age with like internet and stuff, everyone has a phone, everyone's on there. So you can literally reach so many people with the things you put on the internet. So I love that you are intentional with what you're putting out there, and, you know, helping other people, because I think it's desperately needed. And, you know, that's why I created this podcast, so people can get to know the gamers and the streamers who are playing, so they can be like, oh man, this guy's a real guy just like me. You know, this guy has gone through a
He
lot.
went
Like,
through, yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people, even when I went through depression, like when I was in school and stuff like that, people see me, you know, like they think like I have it figured out. Like I'm 6'2", you know, I'm like this, I got tattoos and fucking work out, and they like, "Oh, this guy's like," you know, before I used to go clubbing and stuff like that. And I feel like everybody always thought highly of me. Like they thought like, "Oh, this kid's probably just partying, getting with girls and doing this and doing that," but they didn't understand the battles that I was having. They didn't understand, you know, the drinking, the being down on myself, the, you know, not having a family around, the feeling like certain ways. They didn't understand that. In their minds, they thought that I was just this party guy that was always like partying, hooking up with girls in the clubs and things like that. But they didn't understand everything that was behind all that. They didn't understand, like, because they just see what they see. They see me, you know, dancing. I used to break dance. They see me dancing. They see me doing this, and they're like, "Oh, this guy's the coolest guy. You know, I want to be around him." And I'm just in this depression, this shithole. I don't really want to be around people, but I'm trying to push myself to do it and be around them. But in my mind, it's like being in a place surrounded by people and everyone is chanting you on and everyone is like, but you really feel like you're by yourself. You get me? And those are the worst things, because you're surrounded by people that, you know, are like, "Yeah, he's the best, and he's doing this and he's doing that." But in your mind, you're by yourself. You feel alone at that moment. You know what I'm saying? And you just feel like you're just existing at that moment. And those were times where I was like that, and I was still partying, and I would still go out with my friends, and they wouldn't understand that about me. They'd be like, dude, everybody likes you, everybody's always asking for you, everyone's, and I'm just like, dude, like when I'm there, I just feel alone. I feel like there's a part of me that's missing. It's not anything to do with anybody. It's not a part that someone else can fill. It's a part that if you don't feel yourself, then it's going to be empty. You know, a certain part of you has to fill that. And that's what I learned. That's the confidence part that fills that. The confidence that you're not alone. And I had a big thing where I had a something that I would always say is like my shadow keeps me company. And people didn't understand that. And I was like, well, as you walk around, your shadow is always with you. My shadow keeps me company. Not everyone's going to be with you all the time. Whenever you walk, you have a shadow. If you don't have a shadow, there's a problem. so so it's like, things like that, they keep me company. And it became to a point where I made a song where the first lyrics I said, I've been stressed, I've been counting on depression. And people didn't understand that. A lot of people, they were writing me like, bro, it makes sense, but I don't understand it. And I had to explain to them. I said, I've been stressed, I've been counting on depression. It's basically meaning that I've dealt with depression so much my whole life that without it, I would feel weird. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
when you deal with something so long, if it just like, let's say depression, right? And you just deal with it and you have ways to cope with it. And then God decides like, hey, you don't have depression. Now your whole mind is fucked because you've coped with it so long that this is a part of you. So that's why I said I've been stressed. I've been counting on depression because I'm stressed. I'm counting on it because I know that that's how I'm going to get through it. But if it's not there, then what am I doing? Like, how can I think like other people if I've been thinking like this my whole life? And that's one thing that's important. So when I said that, that's what I tell them I meant. I said, I've been stressed. I've been counting on depression, meaning I need depression because it's a part of me already. If it just miraculously left me, I don't know how I would be. I don't think I would be happy without depression because I've built my life around it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely see what you're saying. I personally somewhat disagree. I don't know. I don't want to get into it too much, but I mean, I don't want to say I disagree with your opinion because that's obviously your opinion. But I feel like there has to be a way to be able to overcome that depression. Like there has to be a way to move forward. Like I'm not saying like ever forget it and like know that it was there. But I
But
feel like
that's
there
a
has to be.
coping mechanism. See,
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to say. Like you would cope and
Hmm.
and you would do better. Yes, that is a coping mechanism. But if it just never was there, that's a
Oh
whole
yeah,
different thing
definitely.
because my thing is if it never was there, then that means that all your past trauma is is still thought about.
Hmm.
The depression is what helped you get past that
Definitely.
trauma, right?
Oh yeah.
So if it just miraculously left all that past trauma that you went through, all the if you did go through abuse, if you did go through anything, all that comes back because now there was no depression to soothe that. So now it becomes pain. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying now. I misunderstood. Yeah, so that depression made you who you are, right?
Yes,
It's like
exactly.
when coal gets put on like an immense pressure, it gets turned into a diamond, right? You need to have
Exactly.
that pressure to be able to turn into diamond.
So if
Yep.
you just
Hmm.
take away that depression,
Yep.
and the reasons why you did what you did, the depression made you do what you did, but it was because you were going through so much. If you just take that away, all those problems come tumbling back in.
Definitely.
Now you're even worse because you're like, damn, I'm dealing with this trauma, I'm dealing with this, I'm dealing with that. The depression makes you like, I gotta get up and I gotta do something because I'm depressed. I'm sitting on the couch, I'm not doing shit. Let me go and let me fucking do it. So
Yep.
that's one thing that's very important. So to me, it's like dealing without it. It's like I've built my life around it. Not saying that I am depressed,
Right.
because I'm not. Like there's been times where I have been, but once I figured myself out, I feel that I'm not. Money problems and things like that, I feel like, they find themselves. Like there's a lot of things in this world that finds itself, like you find ways to get around it, you find ways to do things around it. But when it comes to you and your health, that's not up for grabs. Like,
Yep.
there's people that have diseases, there's people that haven't had chances, there's people that are born with things that they can't take, and they have all these crazy illnesses,
Hmm.
and luckily we're good, and we're here. There's people that don't wake up the next day, so when you wake up, you got to be happy for that. So there's a lot of things I feel like, but I feel like for me it's just very like knowing yourself, and knowing yourself in games, like learning, being that person. That's the best thing I can advise, and being around people that are similar to you.
Yeah.
Because I have a friend called Inmate, and me and him, we known each other for years, and we used to be enemies. We were enemies, arch enemies. Like we would literally argue with each other, play gears. Oh, you suck, 3v3, 1v1. But he was a really good player. And back then I told him, I said, hey man, I want to get better. I want to become a montager with him too, with gears. And he taught me something that I used into montaging, and I joined some of the best montaging teams. So now that me and him are friends, now we talk about it, and he's trying to do the same thing I'm doing. He's trying to help people. There's a lot of times that he's a really good player, and he tries to like sit there and teach people. If people feel like he's better than them, he'd be like, hey man, nah, learn like this. Hey, here's all my settings, here's my controller layouts, here is everything. If you need help, I'll go in the range with you, I'll shoot with you. So me and him, we're like brothers. We're very close, and we always. He has his own Discord that has a whole bunch of people. I have my Discord that has a whole bunch of people. We bring each other together sometimes. Sometimes he brings his people, I bring my people. He knows that my people aren't gonna be on no shit, and I know that his aren't. So we just kind of like gravitate like that. And he's a streamer also, so
Nice.
I'm always showing him love and stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Knowing where you've been, knowing where you're going, and then just surrounding yourself with people who are similar, and people who want to move forward too. Like it sounds like you're always surrounding yourself with people who are striving to be themselves, best selves, and just be their true selves. And I definitely respect that. And I think that's a great community to be a part of. So definitely.
That's called the Cool Kids Club. So only cool.
The Cool Kids Club.
No, I did that on purpose because I was just like, you know what, like Cool Kids Club, like everybody in here's cool, like you know what I'm saying, like they're cool with each other, not cool as far as in like, hey man, you can't, you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
found it funny, like everyone's cool with each other. It's a Cool Kids Club.
It makes me think of, I think it was like South Park. They had the Cool Kids Club or something.
Oh no, if it's part of South Park, I ain't trying to have nothing to do with that because I know South Park is. I already know what South Park is. That's South Park is too crazy for me.
A word. Well, so I think we're pretty close to the end of our podcast. Do you want to share anything else, or I think you could? I mean, if you want, you can rap a little bit. Only if you want to, of course.
I mean, if we want, is there a way we could play a song, maybe?
Yeah. Let me see here.
If you have YouTube, we could play a song.
Yeah, I got YouTube. What song do you want?
Try Aramis Jean Soulmates. That was actually one of my last songs that I did, but it's one of my favorite songs. Because if you want bars, I can give you another song. Like, are you like a bars person though?
I mean, I like a lot of different rap. I mean, I do listen to a bunch of different rap. Probably not the same artist that you listen to. I listen to a lot of like Chris Webby, who is like he is actually doesn't go with any record label either.
But would you say like, okay, so like, see, that song is more like a extentacion kind of style, like sad boy kind of like, but it was more commercial that I had to do. But I have a song called The Wave where that's more like a song that I made. It's more like a vibe, but it has bars, so you get to see like how I actually rap, not like more like
Yeah, let's do your actual rap. Let's do the bars. So what was the name of the song?
If you put in Aramis Jean, Aramis Jean, and it's called The Wave.
The Wave. Let me see here.
Do you see it?
I think I'm not pulling up the right thing here. Let's see.
It's like a car. It's like a car.
How do you spell the first part again, real quick? Sorry, I think I must have misheard.
I could write it here if you want.
Yeah, put it in the chat here. That'd be best.
Wait, this is 18 plus, right? Because the song says this is 18 plus, right? On your Twitch, you don't have like.
Yeah, no, yeah, we're good.
Oh, okay, because the song's kind of. It's just more like lyricism though. Is there a way I could put the link here? Maybe.
Yeah, was what I'm gonna. All I'll do is I'm put in the links of all the songs and like any of your content in the description so people can find your stuff. But I just found it. Let's see the wave. Yeah, I found it.
It's like a car, right? So we
The one I'm seeing is like a purple moon.
Yeah, it's like a car in the moon.
Oh yeah, there's the car down below. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like kind of grayed out, so I didn't see the car, but yeah, I definitely see that. Okay.
So that's more lyricism. Like you're gonna see, like it's more like I made this song, and it's crazy because the way I came up with the song was, you know, if anybody in here makes music, I'm gonna give you guys a big tip. So when you hear a beat, right? I always, whenever I hear a beat, I hum. So this is a way that anybody in here that does music, it's been a way that's gotten me through everything. So like let's say I hear a beat, I always hum the melody. I never have words. So I always like I don't say nothing, right? And then once I get the melody down, like the then I think of words like na 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 na. Then I'm like, she don't want to sink, tell her ride the wave, you know. So it's like you have to hum, get that melody to make sure that you like it's called riding the beat. So you want to make sure that you're another instrument added on to the beat.
Right.
Like your voice should be an instrument. So if the beat's going dun dun dun, you want to have that flow so that the hook and everything, you're an instrument. So like whether it's a guitar, whether it's a drum, you're literally an extra instrument. So I feel like people that do music always think like that, and you'll go far because you hum and you make yourself an instrument. Then once you're that instrument and you see dun dun dun, you see that the beat's going a certain way, you start putting words on whatever you just did, and then it just comes like into what you guys are about to hear now.
Word. You know, that definitely makes a lot of sense. So thanks for sharing that tip.
Oh, you got a speaker?
Well, it should be playing. Let's see. I should be playing through. Let me see here.
All of a sudden, the subwoofers pop out. That's the Xbox controller.
All right, here we go. Okay.
Oh my! By the way, this beat was made specifically for me by this guy named Cart because I told him I wanted something like, you know, wavy.
Yeah, it sounds really cool so far.
Cart about to go crazy.
It sounds kind of low a little bit.
You said it sounds low?
Yeah, on my end.
Probably because you can only hear it through the
She
Discord.
don't wanna sing, tell her ride the wave, ride the walk. I be lit, feeling like a tidal wave, tidal walk. She don't wanna sing, tell her ride the wave, ride the walk. I be on my board, see her, then I wave, then I walk. She don't wanna sing, tell her ride the wave, ride the walk. I be lit, feeling like a tidal wave, tidal walk. She don't wanna sing, tell her ride the wave, ride the walk. I be on my boat, see her, then I. She don't wanna sing, tell that bitch what do you think? Got the pills all on the sink, she just hit me tryna link. I'm just tryna fucking drink, I'm in all black, that pussy pink. She on the edge, I'm on the brink. She give me head cause we in sync. Got my name in, she my main thing. Got no plain Jane, she my cocaine. Feel like Cobain, she a dope thing. Rode the folk train in my own lane. Got no road rage, keep that propane. She ride the passenger, fucking on me and I feel like a bachelor. I flip her like spatulas, I got that magic like abracadabra. Back it up, she flip while I stack it up. You want this pack of what chick always acting up. Tell that whole pack it up, this shit isn't adding up. She don't wanna sing, tell her ride the wave, ride the walk. I be lit, feeling like a tidal wave, tidal walk. She don't wanna sing, tell her ride the wave, ride the walk.
Yeah, it's a it's a great flow.
Yeah, that's more of like my actual flow. Like I said, like now I had to use feeling like my last when I was in my last label, more like X Juice WRLD kind of music. But this was like my favorite flow when it came to the rhythm, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's definitely I like it a lot. You definitely have a good flow and good cadence, like you were talking about.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. It's definitely, yeah. I'll have to put the links to your channel here. Now I have it. I'm gonna give you your subscribe actually right now here. And
Yeah,
then
I appreciate that.
yeah, I'll definitely put your link out to to your channel and to your Kick as well, so people can find you. And so you stream live on Kick? Do you have like a set schedule?
Twitch.
Or Twitch? Oh, my bad. I thought I saw Kick on your Instagram for some reason.
See, no, I am on Kick, but
Okay.
I went back to Twitch because my thing is like Kick is like, for me, Kick is not fully formed yet.
Oh.
So when it comes to like, you know how you have a smart TV and stuff. So for me, I don't have a second monitor. So my second monitor is my TV. So since I have a smart TV, I can pull up Twitch and I can look at the chat. My most important thing is to engage with my viewers.
Right.
I don't like not being able to engage with my viewers, and the chat box on Kick, it doesn't work half of the time. So a lot of times people are talking and I can't really pay attention to them.
Wow.
So I feel like, you know, I went back to Twitch. So I do Twitch and Kick, but I'm more on Twitch. Twitch has been my primary lately.
Makes sense. Yeah, actually, good to hear. Well, not good to hear that Kick's not doing well, but I was wondering how streaming on Kick, because I actually stream on Twitch as well, and thought like, you know, I see a lot of people going over to Kick. I wonder how good it is, but yeah, definitely.
It's pretty good. It's just not fully formed.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing. Like, it's not fully formed for me, and you know, there's a lot of things to where Twitch is just more of a successful platform. You know, at least for now. So like a lot of people feel more comfortable being on Twitch. A lot of my friends that, you know, follow me on Twitch, they get on Twitch, they see me on, they're like, hey man, AJ's on, you know, Smackyourbowlcut. But when I go on Kick, they're like, yeah, I gotta download Kick. I just try it. Like, you know, they're just like so like compelled to go into Kick that they just want to stay on Twitch all day. So I feel like a lot of people that I know that went to Kick came back. And I wanted to ask you, you know, before we end and stuff like that, do you want me to like refer you to other gamers also?
Yeah, man.
Because I have like a big gaming community. Like I know a lot of people that stream. I know a lot of people that are very, you know, intelligent when it comes to streaming. I have their own views on things. So I can definitely, you know, send you some people that are really like influential to help the channel grow and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'm trying to send you like as many gamers as possible. Really just, you know, get, you know, people connected is really my main goal with this podcast, is just help people connect with each other, because, you know, that's what I love about video games, is that we can connect with each other. And I think that there should be more of that, and like actually like actual connection, you know, like it's cool just to play games with each other, but like people need more connection nowadays. I feel like even with like that whole like last 3 years with the COVID stuff, like it really made people like less connected than ever. And so we just need more connection within this world. So that was my main goal with this podcast, is making so just people can be more connected with the streamers, and then hopefully just they can, you know, be on a closer level and you know, just build more community. So
I feel like one good thing to do is like, you know, I like what you're doing, like how you're talking to gamers and stuff like that, but maybe you should do something to where it's like, you know, Gamers United, bring a whole bunch of gamers together so that you have different inputs from everybody.
Yeah.
I'm saying like it's Zoom, so it goes, you can bring in as many people. So have it like to where you have different gamers giving different, you know, advice, and maybe, you know, another gamer that's in there could be like, hey man, yeah, but this worked for me, you know what I mean? And just kind of have like to where it's not conflict back and forth, but it's more like, you know, more everyone putting the pieces together. Like everyone, people like group discussions. Like me and you having this discussion is great. But a lot of people lately, they like group discussions. That's why they watch those podcasts that have like 4 people, you know, Wallow and all these people, Sneeko and all those people. Like, it's very good to have multiple, because you have multiple opinions and everyone has different opinions. So it's very good to have everyone's input. So you can be talking to somebody about gaming, and then someone else can say, hey man, I do this too, you know, and then you can just bring those people together. Like, hey man, you know, we got these 4 big gamers coming in now. Their fans are coming to watch you interview them. and now you have a whole shitload of fan base watching you with all these four gamers, all of them together, watching you ask them questions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely, man. That's a great idea. Yeah, well, that's coming soon then, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
have you on there as well.
Hey
Okay,
bro,
AJ.
I'm here, bro. I
Word.
definitely like I'm definitely happy that I met you, and I'll introduce you to my group too. Like, I
Yeah,
can tell
man.
you Discord. Once you get in there, you meet a lot of people. Those kids in there are really good gamers. If you ever want to run with them, or if you ever just want to joke around with them, we all in there joking around. But I like what you're doing, bro, and I'm happy that you were able to get out of your shell and go for it, because you're doing really good, bro. And
Yeah.
you're definitely, with these ideas, you're definitely gonna blow up, and you're definitely gonna be big. And I wish that for you.
Thank
Like,
you, man.
for the podcast, I'm gonna come in here. It's gonna be thousands of people. I'm gonna be like, yeah, bro, you got it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's fucking go, bro.
I love
And if
it.
you ever feeling any type of way, bro, hit me up. You know what I'm saying? Any kind of way you're feeling, bro. If you feel like something you can't do, let me know, bro, and I'll talk to you. I'll let you know, and I'll help you out, bro.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And same goes for you if you ever want to chat. Always here for you, man. And yeah, I'll shoot you a link to my Discord as well, and you can. I'll definitely want to join your Discord. And yeah,
Hell
shoot
yeah, bro.
anyone over if like anyone's interested. And that goes for anyone watching. If you guys ever want to come on my podcast, I'd love to have anyone on. Come chat, come share your gaming journey, and let's build an awesome community together.
When you said that, I thought of the kid that I told you about that taught me on Gears, inmate. He's like he'll be a really good candidate, because he's like a very high skill level player, but he tries to help people too, and he's very like he has like a very deep voice. So when you hear him, you're like, God tier. Like, he has like this. He sounds like someone that does like commentating for games, and he's actually commentated on games before.
Oh,
So
nice.
he's a very interesting person, and that's
Nice.
that's my brother. So I would definitely refer him. I'll send you his page and stuff. His page is Penitentiary. He plays like Smite, he plays Apex. He's a really good Apex player. So
Perfect.
definitely, I'm gonna refer him to you, because I feel like he has views on the world that are different from mine, but they all intertwine with each other, and I respect them. So
Nice. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I'd love to have him on. Definitely shoot him my way. And then, do you have a set streaming schedule?
see, I usually listen when this comes up. I stream early, like I'd be streaming like 12 o'clock, like till like maybe 5 o'clock. Like today, I streamed 5 hours, But I'm gonna make a schedule,
Right.
because I have to. Because I feel like people always ask me that, and they're like,
Yeah.
at least if they know my schedule, they'll know like when they can get there and if they can get there. I just feel like, I don't know. It's hard for me to commit. It's a commitment. That's what it
Yeah.
is. Like a job. You can't say like, hey, I'm gonna stream from this time to this time and not go through with it. I'm a person that if I say something, I'm gonna go through with it. But I'm gonna figure out a schedule. Like tomorrow, I'll probably be streaming from like 12 to like 5 or something. At least like 5 hours. I feel like that's putting in enough time.
Yeah.
I wanted to do 2, but I'm not that big yet. So I wanna, host people, raid people,
Yeah.
talk to people. And lately, what I thought about doing is I want to start watching other people's gameplay, like not talking trash about them, obviously, but just seeing what they can do to better themselves, or like seeing what they could have done in certain situations and talking about it. I want to start doing that, but I also want consent of them, because you don't want to just go on somebody's channel and
Yeah.
start talking crazy, like, hey man, this guy could have. Oh, what is he doing? Like you don't want to do that. So I want to tell them like, hey man, you mind if I check out your stream and talk while you're streaming, just kind of like give a little info, not bad talk you, but just info. But I feel like, hey man, you should definitely make a page too, for like, I saw your page, and it's very professional, but I also feel like get a title, like you have the hero. What is the Hero Unleashed, right?
Yeah. 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 Unleash the hero within. Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like make a page of that, make the bio, because I used to work in social media marketing. I don't know if you know that about me, but I did work in social media marketing too. You can look that up. Aramis John, look it up. But make that page, make a bio, and then take clips from the people that you talk to, like me or whoever else you spoke to before, right? Upload them, and then put like looking for gamers to, and that's gonna attract people to your
Yep.
page. It's gonna bring people. Like, I'm gonna post your link on my thing. People are gonna be like, oh wow, this. I'm gonna get a clip from today. I'm gonna post it. People are gonna be like, oh wow, this was interesting. He asked good questions. Now people are gonna be hitting you up. But I would say when you have that page, so that you have two pages. You have your page, your main page, where you can conduct business, and then you have a page of, you know, your actual podcast
Right.
where you can show clips. You can do on TikTok, you can do like the captions with the questions you ask.
Yep.
And then there's a lot of AI tools that would help you, that if you were to put something like this conversation in it, it'll cut out the most important part to make clips for you.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
It's a lot of stuff, bro.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff. And like I said, I'm willing to help you. I'm willing to give you whatever knowledge I have, like I'm giving it to you now.
Sure.
But yeah, bro, like shoot that shit off, bro.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you having me, you know.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man, that's definitely a great idea. I'll have to look at that second page. And yeah, it was my pleasure having you on. It was really a good conversation. Didn't expect to get into some of the stuff we talked about today, but that's why I love these talks. You never know what.
Yeah, because you don't know
we're
where
gonna
it's
talk
going,
about.
bro. You just, bro, when you have two honest people, bro, honesty just comes out. You know, there's when someone's lying, they have to find the lie. So it becomes like stagnant. It becomes like an awkward situation. But when you're being yourself and you're being authentic, you ain't got nothing to worry about because you ain't lying. You're coming as is. This is who you are. So you shouldn't have to question who you are. You shouldn't have to think about what you're saying because you're saying what's true. You know, you're not making up lies to where you have to sit there and think. You're being an honest person. You told me, you know, you were in that place, you came out of that place, you push, you have that on the board. What you told me explains what's on the board, because I wasn't gonna ask what was on the board, but you explained it to me, so I already know. Hey, I am enough. He wants people to think that. That's a great thing, because some people don't think. Some people think they're worthless.
Yep.
Everybody's on this world for a reason, bro, and you know everybody is enough. Because you know, if you weren't enough, then you wouldn't be a person on this earth.
Yep. I love it. Yeah, that's a great place to leave it, because that was just an amazing message right there. We're all enough. And actually, I think it goes back to the very first part of the stream where you talked about, like, we all have superpowers. I think we all do have superpowers, and definitely one of your superpowers is to help people and to help guide them and teach them. I can tell. So you know, you're doing awesome, and just love your work even more now that I got to know you more, AJ. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast, and we'll definitely keep in touch for sure.
I appreciate that, brother. Thank you for having me. And like I said, bro, you know, anytime, hit me up, bro. My IG's open, bro. I'll
Awesome.
flag you. So whenever you write to me, I'll see it.
Perfect. All right, and anyone who's listening, make sure you guys check out AJ's content. I'll have his YouTube, his Twitch, his Instagram, his TikTok as well. You know, have all the links down below. Anywhere else?
I'll finish on saying, it's your boy, Smackyourbowlcut. Everybody keep your bowl cuts protected.
Hide your bowl cuts.
Hide your bowl cuts, right?
Perfect. All right. That's a great place to leave it. Thanks, AJ.
All right, brother. Have a good night.
You too.